This is the secret to making your footage feel alive. Hello everybody, my name is Marco Bagnoli, I'm a cinematographer, and today we're going to look at a commercial where they used a lot of practicals. Practicals is something a lot of people use in their cinematography because they are essential. They're the leading light source. Sometimes they just give the image emotion, feel, atmosphere. In this video I'm going to show you how you can tactically place them and what you shouldn't do when you're using practicals. So this is the first shot we're looking at, and we can see this woman sitting on a table, late night scene, everything is dark, and we have on the ceiling all these practicals and also this practically on the table. So this is a pretty simplistic scene and explains itself pretty well why we use practicals. You can probably say, hey, why they didn't use just the lamps that are already here? Well, these are clearly replaced the bulbs. These are Asteras and didn't use the bulbs that are already there. The reason for it is control. The thing about cinematography is always having the control over fill ratios, over exposure ratios. I want this corner a little bit darker. I want this skin a bit brighter. I want this blade completely dark. And this is why we always try to have the full control over everything. Also, sometimes when you're in a location like train station or something like that, bulbs are very low quality. Most of the time they have a greenish or magenta tint, and here we can balance everything out so that we always have nice skin tones and nice feeling. So they didn't just put the lamps on the ceiling and set it the day. No, they placed it in a line. So we always want to create lines in our cinematography. This table has lines, this table here has lines, and our whole view is focusing on the girl on the table because we placed everything here so that we create leading lines that help us focus on our actor. Also, a big point is you can actually see, there are even more lamps on the ceiling and they didn't turn it on. Sometimes you build your setup, look at everything and say, no, this is too much. Maybe this light brought too much exposure on this wall or too much exposure on this wall. So you will, end of the day, as a cinematographer, have to decide, do I want to have more practicals for even broader, more epic look? Whether I say, no, I want to focus more on the actor and remove them. This is the secret about practicals like this. Just having the opportunities to control the light levels of the room. Then we have this more cooler color. And now we have this warm lamp. Sometimes when you're building a scene and you have one distinctive look, you want everything to be cool or everything warm. Sometimes you just need one little breaking point in your image, like this warm color, because without it, the whole image would feel washed out, just this bluish, greenish tone, and wouldn't feel alive, not natural, not cinematic. These colors are on the opposite side of the color wheel, so they work really nice together. And also try to not let your practicals clip. They're just there to shine, not actually do in a situation like that much. You just want this warm tint and a bit of exposure on the table. That's done. This light, or most of the time your practicals, they're in the corner, won't do anything. You can actually see right now the sun is setting. It looks pretty dark. Let's put on the practical here. If you look closely, if you have this lamp here on 1% or on 58%, you can see 58 is way too much. 1% does the job, it just gives the feel of something. Okay, now we have life in the image. Don't turn the sprinkles too much up. So the next thing that they've done here is you have to stop at one place because we want to create layers. So maybe here above her are also practicals, but we turn them off because we don't want light on her back, because now our footage would look flat. When we have most of the time a back in front of the camera, we won't want to lit them because we want to focus of this area and not here. And like I said before, always want light, dark, or dark light to create layers. And if we check here, because we didn't put a light on her back, we have dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, bright, dark, bright, blah, 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 blah. And this is how you create depth with practicals. You have these leading lines you create with these practicals, you created color contrast with these practicals, and you created exposure difference with these practicals. You can see they're not just for the fun of the game there, they actually have really broad use case. When we look at this moving shot, you can clearly see it even better, because now every table has a lamp, but we only turn on every second. As you can see, it's only off, on, off, on, off, on, because when you would turn everyone on, the image would again could be flat. We don't want to light the foreground. The foreground has to be dark, so that the next point can be bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark. And even, you can see the background has this nice coolish tower, we a little bit on blue hour, and have this warm skin tones and another usage of color separation. This is now the POV of the monitor. You can see the overall shot now is pretty flat. So that's the reason, because of the brightness of the monitor. They're in this triangle setup, so she gets lights from every corner. But I don't think this is sometimes a good thing to do, because monitors have also this very weird color temperature and not pure white, and everything starts a little bit flatter. You can see she's getting a beauty setup. She has maybe another light or reflector that's giving her a little bit of key, but overall she looks really flat. But again, they choose the same look as before, with the practicals on the ceiling in the background, which help leading lines. Overall, POV scenes, use the widest lens you have. It's always a cool look. People like wide angle lenses, 12mm, 10mm nowadays, because the audience in commercial likes views that are not normal. When you have a view that's not normal, the audience notices even more, and that's mostly what we want as a cinematographer in commercials, because we want the people to look at the commercial. So if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a subscription from you. It's became really dark in this room. I hope you liked the video, and see you next time.